With sentence placement questions, the challenge is that we're always kind of forced to think about a lot of information, and that's difficult. The writing section is usually very narrow, and so maybe we're looking at a sentence at a time, but these are going to force us to look at an entire paragraph. But our job is still the same. We want to get back to that place where we're only thinking about a handful of ideas. So narrowing our focus is super important here. We don't want to just read this paragraph 4 times with the sentence in 4 different places. That's not helpful. It might get you the right answer, but good chance it doesn't. So we need something to read and look for as we're reading. So, okay, to make this paragraph most logical, sentence 4 should be placed. Let's go to sentence 4. Something in this sentence is going to tell me an important idea that I need to keep track of. The fact that this record did not endure is a testament to the success of Khan's design. So they're clearly referring to a record that has already been mentioned. So now when I read this paragraph, I'm not just reading, I'm reading and looking for mention of a record. If I don't see that, then it's probably not going to relate to this sentence. So let's see. Sentence 1. Once buildings had demonstrated the effectiveness of tubular designs, engineers and architects were free to imagine even loftier projects. Nothing about a record. The result was an inflation of extremely tall buildings. Nothing about a record. Structures such as the 163-floor skyscraper Burj Khalifa, completed in 2010 by the engineering firm with which Khan worked, continues to pay homage to the person who heralded the modern age of the skyscraper. Now I know from just being in the world and reading the newspaper that the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world, and so there's my record. However, I'm not supposed to be able to answer this based on that. The lines are supposed to say, this is a record. So the lines don't say that. They don't mention a record. So this is a problem. I've read this paragraph, but there's no mention of a record. You need to be aware of when things go badly for you and respond to those. This is a good example where we followed the rules, we used the strategy, and it failed. But that doesn't mean that the strategy is a failure. That means that we are dealing with a unique situation. So we have to be a little bit more vigilant. We need to look out and say, okay, something didn't work out quite right. What can I do to make up for that? This isn't a situation that's typical. It's a little different from the normal cases where this strategy would have worked. So why might it be weird? Well, a hint is right here in choice B. Because if I wanted to put this before sentence 1, then this record would be referring to something in a previous paragraph. So let's see. This design allows the building to retain its lateral strength and to use steel more economically. In fact, the Willis Tower contains about as much steel as do shorter structures built at that time. Opening in 1973 at 110 stories, it was the world's tallest building for more than 2 decades. There it is, a reference to a record, and it's a clear reference. It's not something that I need to kind of know from outside knowledge. It is written in black and white in the test where it belongs. And so I have no doubt that that is the answer. And that's how these should work. You shouldn't be guessing where the sentence goes. There's always going to be something that proves that the sentence needs to go in that spot. So when you do all the stuff you're supposed to do, and you find that you're still confused, you find that you're still missing that evidence that you're supposed to have, that's not a sign that the strategy is a failure. It's just a sign that this might be one of those weird cases where you've got to do a little bit more. Look somewhere else. Read a little bit differently. So adjust. 80% of the SAT is going to be very formulaic stuff. And if you've been practicing for a long time, you'll see that 80% and it'll be really easy. The other 20% is weird. There's no amount of practice that can prepare you for every question the SAT could throw at you. So it's your job to get really good at the 80% and to be confident with the strategies so that when the 20% comes around and you feel that uncertainty, you recognize that this might be one of those cases where you've got to adjust. The adjustment is really key. That's how you get the top scores. You get all the stuff down that you need to get down, and then you get comfortable and flexible enough to deal with the weird stuff.